I've got Brody Stanford.
Hello, that's me.
It's him.
That's me. Yes.
Do you ever want to like change your name to like Brody Harvard or
more prestigious
Brody
school.
Yale?
Yeah. No, I want to change my name to Brody Des Moines Community College. Yeah, it seems like a more prestigious institution.
That's like a very you thought. Like, no, I don't want to upgrade. I want to downgrade.
Yeah.
I don't deserve better.
What are you talking about? The Des Moines Area Community College system is very good. It's very prestigious. People know it.
Well, the thing about like
their
community colleges is
low.
like I feel like people will make fun of it for this kind of shit, but like you can get some like really like hands-on type of stuff. That like if you're at a bigger university, it's like, we don't have time for you.
Yeah.
But like I remember like when I started off my college career, at Kirkwood, I did like a communications media thing there. I wanted to do film at that time. Yeah. And it was like there was a lot of like interesting like hands-on like video like touching like doing stuff, which was kind of cool, which it's a lot of other places it's just kind of like for any similar thing it's always like there's a lot of like lectures and all this kind of stuff. Like I remember at Iowa, I got an English degree there that by that time I had decided I'm not going to do film because you have to get a bunch of people together and fuck that. So like I want to write because I can just do that by myself.
Yeah.
And I remember the shock of like just like the first time I was in like an actual like big like lecture hall, and I'm like, this is boring as shit. But then like the discussions like in classes were cool. But
isn't that like big schools like universities like first couple of years it's like gigantic
it's just lectures. Yeah.
I went to a private school, so I don't really like. I went to a really small like liberal arts college, so like my biggest class ever was like 25 people, I think.
Oh damn. Yeah. That's nice.
So like a lot of very small class. I didn't have that experience of like and then even when I was in grad school, like we had 6 people per class. Yeah. So I don't I can't relate to the like 500 people you can just skip class whenever. Like if you skip class, your professor knew. They would text you like, hey, what's wrong? Is everything all right? Yeah.
What's crazy about those big lectures too is like you can just, and colleges will just like sometimes record those and they'll put them up for free online, and then it's like, wait, hold on, why is anyone like literally? I remember when I discovered that like because I like programming is like one of my hobbies. You know me, I have a bunch of hobbies. But like I definitely I love computers and I love programming, and I discovered one day, like I don't know, a few years back, that like Harvard has like their CS50 class. They like every year they'll put up a bunch of lectures from that class online. So like, I mean, obviously you don't get like the hands-on one-on-one like getting your stuff graded and whatever, but it's like you can just observe all the material. You can take in all the material and pay nothing. It's just on YouTube. One of my friends, he got his computer science degree, and he said he just got a degree in Google is all it is. Like that's like all you do is just Google everything. Like look at Stack Overflow, look at like all these other things that are just big. And even like my partner, she's a software engineer. A lot of her job is just like Stack Overflow. It's just open all the time. Oh my god, I've heard that so much. It's funny because like as a hobbyist, it's like I find myself doing it's like I'm constantly like, wait, I don't really know how to do this, and I look up stuff, and then it's funny you hear about people that do those jobs, and it's like nothing changes. Like you just look everything up on Stack Overflow, and you're like, oh shit, let me copy paste this. Does this work? Awesome.
Yeah, it's nuts though, because even like I'm sure like it's something that's pretty simple to learn. Right. I've had her try to explain things to me. Right over my head. I have no fucking clue what anything. I don't know. It's like I said, way over my head. Yeah.
Well, the big thing with that kind of stuff, it seems like, is like it's like a cognitive thing, like a very cognitive job where like you need to know like all these basic like concepts and stuff and like how things work, even if you don't necessarily like use all those things all the time. It's like that knowledge set of like then because then you can like go into any language and kind of like pick things up and know how to use like the tools or whatever.
Is that like most jobs? You have to know the baseline.
Well,
like
that's
how things work.
That is true. That is true. But I feel like for some jobs,
most professions, you just described work. Like, Wow.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Reminds me of a conversation that was in like fucking what's the show? Master of None, where it's like, oh yeah, I could easily be a pool shark. I got the being bad part down. And just like if I practice every day for the rest of like my life, I think I'd be a really good pool. I could fool anybody. It's like, well, you're just describing being good at something. Like,
yeah, right. It's like, damn, all I need to do is take the next 10 years and just really focus. I could get really good at this. Yeah, damn.
Wow. In 10 years, I'm going to be winning a shitload of money in pool games. Yeah.
Oh my God. I definitely segue. I'm so bad at segues. Yeah. It very much feels like that is sometimes one of the most important things in comedy is like just showing up.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you don't, I mean, you can sit at home and write all day long if you really want to, but then it's like, you know, let's just say you write like a 10-minute set and you're like, okay, this thing, I've been putting so much thought in this, and then you just go up in front of a crowd and you could just bomb. And then it's like, well, what does that mean? Well, time to rewrite. It's like you could have just gone right away and bombed with like the first 3 jokes and realized like, oh, as written, like these are not going to work. I'm going to have to rework these anyway.
Yeah. No, that's, and it goes both ways too, because you can like show up every time too and not write
not write anything.
And be bad. I've seen that true. Like people just get stagnant. Like they have like a 5-minute set that works, and they do that at every open mic, and it's like that's not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know? Like if you have something new you want to try out, sure. Like go to open mic, figure it out, work on it, like whatever. But like if you're just gonna be doing the same 5 minutes that you know works,
that's not what an open mic's for.
No.
It's weird. It's like some people treat an open mic like a show. They're like, all right, time to like really knock everyone's socks off. It's like okay,
oh man, all these show producers are in the audience. Like I gotta impress them. Like I got the scouts, you know, for the Comedy Store that are in the audience right now. I gotta put on my big boy pants and do a big boy show.
Right.
Like, no, that's third practice.
Yeah. No, the only problem I've had with that kind of thing, I'll fall victim to like doing stuff kind of like that on an occasion, is when I get scared. Like I'll show up to like a room that's like kind of just everything about the night is screaming, this is going to be shitty. And then so like I'm like, all right, I'm prepared to like I can bomb and whatever, and I'll just work on this new stuff. But then like if the crowd starts if there's enough people fill in and the room starts feeling like hot, then I'm like, oh man, I don't want to bomb tonight. And so there's every so often, not all the time, but every so often I'll find myself like, like I'll look at my notes. I'm like, I'm not going to do that tonight. Which is it's just a bad habit.
I always throw in like 1 or 2 new, like if it is like a room like that, I like try to still throw in 1 or 2 new ones, because like it's, I don't know. I feel like that's ideal, because like you're still wanting to do like your regular set, and you want to see where those new ones fit in, because that's still beneficial too, to figure out where the things are gonna fit in. But I don't know. It's when you do have a room like that, it's definitely hard, because it's like I want to have that serotonin like rush of like, oh man, I'm making people laugh. Look at me go. I'm a fucking look at all these funny things I'm saying. I'm really good at this. But I don't know. It's good to feel like you're doing well, but it's at that point it's very much an ego thing, which all of us comedians are just fucking egomaniacs.
If you want to just feel like you're doing well, you could just drink some booze and be like, I'm doing well, and just delude
yourself.
Like
2 laughs and it's like, man, I'm killing. Look at me go. Like I mean we really are just narcissists, because we're like, everybody wants to listen to us talk. It's like, no.
You know, that is such a relief though to understand that though, because I when I was younger, I still had the need for like attention, and I would just like fuck around and like make my friends laugh and whatever. And then like when I like learned different some of my hobbies that are more performative, shall we say, I always felt like I always loved like doing it in front of people and performing and all this stuff. But then like I felt bad about it. I like for the longest time I was like, that's like gross. That's like such an ego like gross thing. But then like it was a lot more like peaceful when I finally accepted. I'm like, yeah, that's okay though. Like as long as I keep it in check, like it's okay to want to like perform. Like that's not a bad thing.
No,
it's
absolutely
just,
not.
You just have to like not let your ego get out of control. But like if you understand that, it's easier to keep your ego in check because you're living in reality. You're like, oh, I know about that. You know?
You can't be like telling dick and cum jokes and then be like, I'm doing a much bigger thing than myself. Like I'm the savior of the comedy world. I'm talking about vaginas and cum shots. It's like, okay, no, shut the fuck up. Like, that's when the ego goes too far, where it's like, you're just, you think you're fucking
God damn it,
a poet. It's like, no, you're not. You just humped a stool and said the word fart 8 times in 5 minutes. Like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think that like, relating to that, do you think that comedy do you ever think in your mind that like comedy like has a purpose, or is it always in your mind that you're just like, nah, at the end of the day it's just laughs and like it's what it is and like that's it?
I mean, I definitely think it has a purpose. Like there's no like, I don't know. I feel like there's a need for people to have laughter. People need that serotonin boost where it's like, oh, I feel good. And like nobody at comedy shows or nobody that's there is happy. Like nobody that's in a good mindset is going to a comedy show because like they're there to watch other people make them feel better. It's like, oh, look at this guy. Yeah. That's like, depressed and wants to kill himself. That makes me feel okay. Like, I don't know. Like it's very much like it has a utility. Right. But,
But beyond that, it's just like, it's kinda...
like I said, nobody at comedy shows is a happy person. Like, whether they know it or not, they're not a happy person.
That makes sense. Cause like I definitely find myself, whenever I reach to like to watch stand up, like as a viewer, the reason I'm reaching for stand-up is for an escape and because I'm not feeling good at the moment usually. Yeah. It's usually not like... Because it's funny because like there's all sorts of like specials that have come out, in the last several months to year that I just haven't seen yet. And I keep like wanting... I'll put it on like my Netflix like watch later list and stuff. And then I find myself like I never end up watching them. And I'm like, oh, right, because like things are going like decently well most of the time right now. And I have things like I'm enjoying doing. And it's like... Yeah, of course I'm not watching because I'm not feeling like shit. But if I do feel like shit, that's when I like reach for those things, and I just like make me feel good, make me laugh. Like
that's how I am with writing too. Like there's sometimes where I get like in a really good mood and I feel really good about myself, and then there's other times where I want to fucking die, and that's when my jokes are good.
Oh yeah,
when I want to fucking end it all. It's like that's when I have actually like jokes that I write that are like, oh, these are pretty okay. I feel good about these.
That's definitely happened to me too a lot, where it's like, the things that I don't even think are gonna work are, and it's weird. Like I've learned the lesson, but I still have to I still forget and have to like relearn. It's like, people don't care unless there's like, it's almost like, it's kind of like writing fiction where like there has to be stakes, like or nobody cares. So it's like if they sense that you're just up there like, well, I don't know, and you're just like observing like dumb shit and you don't care about what you're observing or you don't care about what you're talking about, like then they don't care. But like if they sense that like, oh, this means something a lot to this person and like this person really hurt and that's why they're saying this, like that somehow it has more meaning, and so somehow that like elevates the stakes. But then at the end of the day, it's crazy because like all of that is just for that release where everyone laughs. Like that's what it all is for. It's just that moment.
I don't know. I think the whole relationship between comedian and audience is a very reciprocal relationship. It's not like one's parasitic of the other. Like, it's very like reciprocal. I think they give us laughs. We give them laughs. Like, it's something we seek out of each other.
Right. Yeah. So, why? I don't think I've ever asked you this. Why did you start doing stand-up? Like, what made you go and just get up there?
Worked at a comedy club.
Oh,
really?
Worked
at Penguins when that was still around. I was a bartender there. Bartender for about like 2 or 3 years and manager for another 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that was an interesting experience. It was fun because like I love bartending. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's nice to not have to deal with food. They didn't serve food, so like I only dealt with drinks. And then like during shows, like fucking nobody, like the servers were the ones that took care of the food stuff or the drinks. Like they went out and got the drink orders. I didn't have to talk to the customers, which is fucking awesome. I just made the drinks. It was great. It was the best fucking gig I ever had. It was so much fun. But no, I was working the open mic nights. I was bartending during those, and I just got convinced, like, pop up on stage, do like 5 minutes. I was like, all right, well, give me a couple weeks to like come up with some jokes. Sure, I waited a couple weeks. I thought I had like 7-8 minutes of material written down. I got up on stage for maybe a minute and a half. And I froze up. I was like, all right, that's it. See you. I'll see you at the bar. And then, that was a fucking nightmare. And what's worse is the next weekend, I forget who it was. It was a big name that was at Penguins on the weekend. And the MC like last minute had to leave, like had to drop and like go home. And I think it had to have been like Mencia or like George Lopez, one of those like a big fucking name that was down there. And I got asked to, they're like, oh, you do this, right? And I was like, no, I don't. I've done it once. And they're like, that's good enough. Hop up there. And I was like, holy fucking shit. It was like middle of rush too. Like right before the show started, that's when all the drink orders come in. Like I'm dealing with like 300, 400 tickets. And they're like, all right, go up there real quick, 5 minutes. I was like, all right, Jesus. No. And they were like, no, they just pushed me up. And I was like, okay, well, here's a couple jokes, like a minute and a half of jokes that they aren't gonna understand, because I was doing that shit where it's like I'm just referencing like local comics and stuff. You know, the stuff that now I just listen to that, I'm like, ugh, that's like, why you're referencing that to a crowd that doesn't know who these people are. But I did that for about a minute and a half, and I was like, all right, well, here's your next comedian. Let's actually start the show now. Like, let's for real get some actual comics up here. And then they found somebody else to do like the between, bringing up the other comics. So like, no, we don't want you back up on stage. That was a weird way to get thrown into it, but for some reason, I don't know why, I just loved it. Even though like I wanted to fucking crawl into a hole and die. I was like, this is the worst experience I've ever had in my whole life. I want to do it again.
Oh my God. Yeah. I very much relate to that feeling. That's how I felt the first time that I got up, was like, when there was like a lot of pressure I had internally about it, because I've had like so many different hobbies and things that like just experiences in my life that I kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I lied to myself for a lot of years, where I was like, you know, I would get into something and I had like this identity crisis all the time, where I'm like, I need to identify as something. I need to be a person that does something, right? And so I would find something that I really liked to do, keyword liked, not loved. And I would find out that I didn't love it because I wouldn't put in the work. And so eventually I came out the other side of that, you know, entering into my 30s, and realized like, oh, I've been just lying to myself. Like, I don't actually love most of those things that I do. I just like them a lot, and they're fun. But as soon as it's inconvenient, I just throw them to the side.
That's ADHD. You just described ADHD. Like that's that is literally what you just described. Checked all the diagnostic criteria boxes.
That sounds about right. But no, I got up there, and I like I realized the reason I got up was because I realized that like for the last few years, any free time I had, like when I was working, I was working a lot of like desk job stuff where I didn't have to talk to anyone. I'd gotten out of like the call center type stuff, and it was just desk job where I didn't have to like talk to people. So I'd be listening to podcasts and stuff. I realized like all of my time is like consumed by like comedy and comedians and just like listening to people talk about comedy and listening to comedy, and it's just like, maybe I should actually like try that, because apparently I'm really like into it. And so when I got up the first time, I had this kind of worry in the back of my head. I'm like, what happens if you get up there and you realize I don't really love this either? And it's like, then what? It felt like it was like my last thing. Like if I don't love this, I don't know what who I am. Up, but I got up there, and I remember it's like you said, it's like you wanted to die. Like it just felt terrible. You're like, this isn't working. But like at the same time, I felt that there was a naturalness of like being up there. And I was like, I feel like I should be up here. Even if I suck for a long, long time, and I probably will, but like I want to be up here. As much as I can be. And so I was really grateful that
it's definitely a rush. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've quit multiple times, and I've had the conversation like fuck with a lot of other comedians. I've had the conversation with my partner. I've had the conversation with like partners I've had in the past.
Yeah,
I want to quit like most the fucking days of the week.
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna lie. Like there are times where I'm like, I don't even want to fucking do this anymore. And then I get back on stage. It's like, all right, let's do it again. It's a love-hate relationship. A lot of hate, a little bit of. I mean, like when the shows start picking back up again, when like I actually get inspiration to write, like all these other things, then I'm like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But until that point, I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? This seems pointless. I'm just running in circles. I'm not writing anything new. I'm not writing anything good. Like, I'm not getting booked on shows. What the fuck am I doing? And then, like, then it pays off. I get booked on stuff. I write more. And it's fine. But, yeah. It's like that. If I don't get attention right now, I will die. Like I'm a very dramatic house plant. If I don't get just the right amount of water and sunlight, I'm droopy and I fucking like I look like I'm on my last legs. And you put a little bit of water in there, it's like, all right, I'm good to go.
It's crazy to me that like because you're definitely one of those people where when you get up on stage, you can't tell like what's going on with you internally like while you're on stage. It's only when you're not on stage. So like I can't even tell if you're like having a good night or not except for seeing you not on stage. When I see you just walking around and interacting with people, I'll like pick up, I'm like, oh, Brody's like not in a great mood tonight. He's not feeling it. But like none of that comes up when you're on stage. Like it's consistent.
I try to be. That's something I've definitely like not really gotten over. Like I've lived by like, oh fuck, who was it? Doug Stanhope told me, because again, working at Penguins, that was like one of the best things, getting to meet all the
meet a lot of people.
Stanhope told me, he was like, hey, I asked him like, do you still get nervous ever? He's like, as soon as you don't get those butterflies, that's when you should quit.
Oh yeah,
like that's when you're done. As soon as you stop getting nervous, that's when you're done. I still get nervous all the time. I'm always like on edge. I'm always very nervous. I'm always like wondering like whether or not people are gonna like what I'm doing. But I've kind of a little bit learned to not show that on stage anymore, especially because like rooms like here at Joystick or like Lucky Cat or wherever else I've gotten used to. Those are shows that like rooms I've been doing for a while, so it's like you kind
of know the room. Whether whoever is in it, it's almost, it's this weird thing where you know the room somehow.
It's immaterial on who's there, but like it's I don't know. It's gotten to that point, which is good. Again, like I have like taken years off. Like I started this back in fucking, I think when I was 21. And 28 now.
28, okay.
Yeah, so about 7 years, but I've taken 2020 was all off. And then like before that, I think like I took 2 non-consecutive years off. Like 1 year, and then like did it for a little bit, and then another year. So like it's been very up and down, but like I don't know. I feel like it's like riding a bike sometimes. Like I feel like it's riding a bike. Like you just get right back into it. And every time I've quit too, I've never kept any of the same jokes from the years prior. Never kept any of this. I always scrap every single one. Like I don't even have any of those notebooks around anymore. I just said fuck it, like starting from scratch.
That's probably good. The thing that I've struggled with some of that is I've had to like convince myself more recently to like, you have to keep this around, you have to keep this around, and like, and if you're getting tired of telling this joke, like it's because you haven't worked on it enough. You need to actually like do stuff. And I've started to do that more recently with a couple of my jokes that have been around for a while. And it's interesting because like a joke will feel stale, but then once you actually like, I don't know, put in the work and actually like rewrite some stuff, or you add tags, and then suddenly it's exciting again. You're like, oh, this is actually fun to do again.
I found that with some of my like old jokes, like after the pandemic, like was after things started opening up. I I like started writing again, and like just recently went back to some of those like early jokes, and I'm like, I really thought this was funny when I wrote it. Why? This was like the funniest fucking thing to me. And I did it on stage and didn't get a single laugh. What's wrong? And I just like looked at it again, rewrote it, and I was like, oh, this is a good joke. This now that I've rewritten it, now that I've taken like time away from it and come back to it, then it's a good joke. So I think that some of those are like definitely good to come back to, which I wish I still had some of my old notebooks around, just because I'm sure there's
grab like just things out of there.
Exactly. I'm sure there's some still like good jokes in there, but
I haven't done it in a while, but there was a time, like a couple, maybe once or twice so far, I've gone back into the archives of my recordings and like listened to like sets from like months and months ago, which is that's all I have right now. I'm like 9 months in, so for me the beginning is like just months and months ago, not even a year ago. But like listening to a few like really old sets sometimes can bring something up where you're like, oh, that's not bad. It just was, you just did it bad. Like that's just not done yet, and there's more you can do with that. But like the core of that is like fine. You just didn't know what to do with it.
Exactly. And a lot of times too, it also kind of like goes with delivery as well, because like personally, like I didn't figure out like what my voice on stage would be, like how I was gonna say jokes, how I was gonna do anything until like recently. Yeah. Like I've changed like how I do jokes a lot, because it's like, how do I want to portray myself? How do I want to portray my humor? Like when I hear these things in my head, when I hear the jokes in my head before I write them down, who's saying it? Like what's the voice? And it's usually just a fucking dumb guy, you know, like the cartoon idiot, you know, that's like, hey, like guys, like, I don't know. It's always just some fucking moron saying these things.
Right.
So then I was like, how do I should just do that then. Yeah. That's how I should say it on stage. Yeah. Is like an idiot. And somebody that just like doesn't even know what he's gonna say next. Like,
That I've gotten that vibe from you, and it's funny. Like, well, and I guess I've only known like what your stage presence is like, or how you perform things in the last 9 months, right? So it's like I don't know what it was like before, but I do know that especially like in the last few months or whatever, it's like you're so sure. Well, I should say you come across so sure of like who you are on stage. Yeah. And you've actually, I think you might be one of the very few people that have gotten a huge laugh from me without a joke. Because I was anticipating, like you have this like energy of like, you guys everything, you know, and you have like this like, like the dumb guy just like pondering stupid thought. But like you've legitimately probably a couple times got me to laugh pretty hard just by like starting into a sentence, and you stopped, and I didn't even know what you were going to say yet, but it was already funny.
Well, that's the thing, is usually I don't know what I'm going to say, because I usually forget the joke, or I'm like trying to figure out like which joke I should do, or like how it even goes. Like that's how I like to have it, is like I don't even know what I'm going to say. Which I don't know, I just think that's funny, like to just leave even yourself guessing. You know?
That's I love listening to people that like, that kind of wander with their thoughts like that. Like one of my favorites to listen to just talk is Theo Von, because I've heard a lot of people actually say something like that about him, where it's like, he'll open his mouth and like he doesn't even know what the end of the sentence is yet. Yeah. He's just kind of finding his way there. Yeah. But that sort of stuff is really funny to me, where it's like someone's like trying to like, it's almost like they're reaching for something profound, but like they don't even know what they're about to say. And it's just like, and it's not, of course, none of it's profound. It's just stupid. Yeah. That's like the beauty of it.
No, that's definitely the what I like to, because again, those are the thoughts in my head. Like that's what I hear in my head whenever, that's my internal monologue, is just some idiot. The way I used to sound like I was in a fucking like job interview on stage. Like I was like very like professional, very like just articulate, very like I pronounced every fucking syllable, every fucking, like I enunciated everything, and now it's just like I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. Like I think it makes it funnier that I just don't give a fuck, which is nice. But then again, it's, I don't know. I just think it's better if it's just very lackluster and loose, very conversational.
You have to like, it seems like you really have to, sometimes the most important thing is just like being there with the room and not treating them like they're like watching you on TV or something. Like I've had a lot of moments actually where I've gotten a laugh when I was bombing, And I got a laugh because all I did was just acknowledge the truth. Mm. I think the first time this ever happened to me, I was at Lucky Cat, and I was like just eating shit. It was just silence, like dead silence.
Yeah.
And I felt really uncomfortable about it. And I stopped I took a beat. And I think all I did was I just asked the room, I was like, how's everyone doing? And that got like a huge laugh because everyone was like, oh, okay, he gets that this isn't going well.
Yeah.
Like it just in that one moment, they finally, because they were on edge and uncomfortable because they didn't know if I knew how bad it was. But then when I let them know that like, I know this is bad right now, then that like released that. Everyone was like, they felt better.
That leaning into it definitely helps a lot. Like leaning into a bomb, just kind of like, then you get even more goofy and outlandish with it. You know, just really fuck around. Like that's, Yeah, sometimes some of the funnest times I've had is where the set started with a bad bomb and then, just kind of loosened me up because I'm like, well, none of this matters now, so I can say whatever I want to, and it's fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Like none of my new shit is working. Like maybe tossing a couple old ones, maybe like just kind of crowd work, riff, like whatever. You know? Yeah. No, it's I definitely have been trying to get a little bit more like goofy and outlandish with like everything that I've been doing. Like late night is one thing that I'm definitely trying to like reach and like get more fucking nuts with.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. It's a very fun show. We actually today just figured out, me and Haley figured out, I haven't told any, this is the first time I've talked about it now with anybody. We got it confirmed that we are going to be doing it's April 22nd, an Earth Day Spooktacular special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Earth Day Spooktacular. It's going to be a good time. I want to get like as over the top and outlandish as I possibly can. I want it to be like nobody asked for it. Nobody wants it, but they're fucking getting it. They're getting an Earth Day Spooktacular, god damn it. It's going to be a fucking blast. There's going to
awesome.
I've been I want to have like comedians, like improv. I want to like involve like as many people as I can. I want to fucking like ever since I had the idea for a spooktacular like a couple months ago.
Okay.
I didn't know which holiday I wanted to do it for.
Right.
But so I've been researching demonic rituals.
Okay.
So that we can summon a demon at the end of the show.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
A lot of them require sacrifices. I don't want to kill a chicken, but if I have to kill a chicken, I'm going to commit to the bit.
Oh my god.
Like I want it to be as crazy as I people in costumes, like all that stuff. It's going to it's going to be great. That's part of like I don't know. I've been like slowly making the late night show a little bit more like ridiculous every like show. I've been doing a little bit more like pushing, but I feel like that's going to be like the dive into the deep end that I really fucking need, where I just like make it as ridiculous of a production as I possibly can.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you always been into like absurdist type like humor or like stuff where it's just like, or not even just humor, but just like I guess absurdism tends to like it lends itself to here. It's almost always funny, but like I remember I like was in an acting class in college, and like we were picking a scene for our final, like me and my partner, and we picked like this just dumb like play, like nobody had heard of this play or this playwright, and it was just like it was this weird scene in a doctor's office, and that was what drew me to it. As like, this almost doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
but that's what I like because it feels free.
Yeah,
you don't have to like when you don't have to be a real person. Mm-hmm. Like that's pretty fun.
You're just like a cartoon character of yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping to gain a little bit more of, and that's what I like, honestly. Like that's there's this one guy I recently found out this is actually a bit. I've loved this person for a long time. He's an internet personality that's been around since like 2012, 2011.
Okay.
He goes by Squeezy. I don't know if you know Squeezy.
I don't think so.
He's fucking insane. He always like comes up with like photo evidence of him like going to like he was like, oh, I tried to book a ticket to Indiana, but I ended up in India. You know, and he just like shares like text messages of like, oh, like he's like texting his girlfriend, I'm in India. It's like, what are you talking about? You're supposed to be here for like fucking days ago. It's like, help, and then sends a picture of him with an elephant. Like, yeah, it's a guy that's actually like an author. Like he's actually like a comedic author.
Yeah,
and like he created this persona of Squeezy, which you should definitely check. I was stoned as shit the other night, and I was watching his TikTok. because he popped up on my For You page, and the first one was him just no words, not saying a single word, trying to take his underwear off without taking his shorts off. And just like ripping them on the sides. And it was a solid 3 minutes of him just like staring into the camera and doing this. And I just was uncontrollably laughing for all 3 minutes. And then I watched it again and again.
Oh my God.
Because I just love that kind of shit. It's so funny because it's like, it's zero stakes. Like you could just be as fucking weird and dumb as possible and like not even care about how the audience perceives it, how they react to it. That's just what you're doing. Yeah. And like whether they want it, whether they ask for it, like they're getting it. Like, right. I think they're paying to be there. They're watching you're watching your feed on TikTok, and that just comes across, and it's like that's in your face now. Yeah. But like with the late night show, that's what's on stage at that time. You paid to be there. You're being there. Like this is what you're getting. I love. It's just like at that point, it's just a captive audience, just seeing whatever you like thought of in a fucking fever dream. You know?
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of people want that though. They just don't know that they like. I kind of sense that sometimes, like just at just a regular show, where it's just like people like want to loosen up. Like you see it in their eyes, like they start to like, smile and like they'll laugh at like one thing, and then like you kind of see that they're like aware of like who's around them, and they just don't feel like they can let loose. But you can tell that they want to. Yeah, I think people like always are craving that, but they're just people. Some people can't get away from that feeling of like being judged, and it's like I can't be this way in public or whatever.
Sometimes it takes that very fucking bonkers comedian that just like comes on and just like gives them something completely out of left field. It's like this person has zero inhibitions. Right. Like they're just doing whatever they want to do. So then the audience is like, well, if they go that far, I can laugh at some of those other things, you know? I can laugh at something. Like if this person's over here fucking taking their underwear off without taking off their pants, you know? Like that's... I feel comfortable laughing at these other people's jokes.
Yeah, for sure.
So it shows that like one person being extremely uncomfortable helps other people get more like uncomfortable at first and then more comfortable.
Yeah. That discomfort is like
taking it to that extreme is a little bit like I think it's fun taking it to that extreme.
Right. Yeah. I think as I progress, like I feel like I'm at that stage where I'm trying to recognize that like being like slower paced is not always like this terrible thing. And like having like a moment, I mean obviously if you have 5 minutes and like half your set is silence, okay, well now you're just bombing, but like having like those moments of silence and like letting people just listen sometimes is necessary to set up things. I think I was so terrified of like even little moments of silence when I first started, and 100% I credit this completely to Andy Landgravy, who he pulled me aside the one time after a Lucky Cat set, and he's like, you're like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something weird like you're cutting yourself off at your knees with your jokes. You're just like, you're not letting them breathe. Like you have to like give people a chance. Like don't hurry on up all the time to the next thing. And I took that really seriously because I'm like, I like Andy, I respect him. I'm like, oh, this guy knows a lot that I don't know. Yeah. So as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, well, let me try that. The worst that can happen is like it still doesn't work, which it's already not working. Yeah. And like I had a really like a big like growth spurt comedic wise, like after that, like it just really quickly, I suddenly felt like I learned a lot really quickly, and like things were progressing. I was like, oh wow, I feel like I'm already like I'm way better than I was like 1 month ago, which is weird. Yeah,
well, because then you're giving your joke time to have feedback because you weren't getting feedback before.
Right. So it's how do you know what you're gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's actually I got similar advice from Andy when I had first started because he's been doing it for a long time. He's been doing it for fucking ever, and I did the exact same thing where I wouldn't let the jokes breathe. I wouldn't give it time to like actually get the laughs that it deserves, or it not deserves.
Yeah, but you don't know.
Exactly, you're not learning anything if you're not like letting people react. Right. Yeah, and sometimes I've seen. There's this comedian, Austin Mooney. I think it was Austin Mooney who did this. He moved to. He was in this area. He moved to Chicago. But he did an entire set not saying a single fucking word. Like didn't say anything. Jesus. He just like grabbed the microphone, looked like he was about to say something, and then just kind of like stopped, walked around the stage a little bit, like utilized all the space that he possibly could. It was a fucking masterclass on space utilization and being able to like non-verbally communicate to an audience. It killed. Like everybody fucking loved it. Like it was a very, very, very good bit. And, he only did it the one time. Right. Like, yeah.
That stuff is interesting to me. I was blown away recently here by I want to say his name is John something maybe. Dorky, like lanky guy that sometimes he'll like read off of note cards and just like little one-liners and stuff. Okay. He's like kind of newer here. But yeah, like the one time like a while ago, I don't know if you were here, but like he went up and he played a recording. It was like a fake like set where there was like canned laughter and stuff. And it was just him like doing a performance, but then he was just like on stage. I think he was eating a banana or something. He was just like eating and playing the recording, and just he had this dumb like grin on his face. Like I don't even know what it was, but everything about it, like I was like if I was trying to be like objective and like observing it seriously, as like, you know, how does this work comedic? Like if I tried to analyze it, I would have thought like this can't work. There's no reason this should work. But I laughed my ass off. That was one of the funniest sets I'd seen here in a while. Like it was so dumb. I'm like, why is this working? But it is.
I absolutely love that kind of stuff. It's great. We actually last night we did with late night our we do a variety act between like the comedian interview and then like the main interview. And I've usually just kind of like utilized the two guests as like the variety act. And it was Demi Kendros. They are fantastic. And Karen Sanchez. And I hadn't told them what the bit was really. I had them give me a song that they wanted to lip sync to. I do a whole lip sync bit to. And I didn't tell them the full details of it. What it was they thought they were just going to be like, you know, I was going to be playing over the speakers. Everybody's going to be jamming out, like and doing the thing with them. I didn't tell them until right before I introduced the bit to the audience. I was like, by the way, you two, you are going to be doing this with noise canceling headphones on. And nobody's going to be able to hear the music. And the way that they committed to that bit was fantastic. I thought as soon as they heard that, they were going to be like sheepish and not really want to. But no, it was Demi. They fucking killed it. They did so fucking well with the whole like dance and everything that they did. Did a lot of like air guitar and shit, which was awesome. I can't. It was like some song by Rihanna that they did, which was like way too long. It was like 4.5 minutes long. I don't know why they picked that. And then Karen's is like a minute long, like a minute and a half song. They Karen's was very much like angry. It was like a fucking like gangster rap song or something. I haven't listened to it yet. But it was an angry song. You could tell. But I thought it killed. It went very extremely well. Like the audience reacted very well to it, which I thought was great. I was very worried. My main plan was to find a similar song to that one that they gave me with the same BPM and same length. That is just polar opposite of what the song is. The song that Demi had given me, a similar song to that was like some song by like Megadeth.
Oh, sure.
Which like Rihanna versus Megadeth, you know, like
it's pretty crazy.
Demi at one point was like twerking and shit to this. I don't think that would look good. I thought that would it still would have been great, a great bit, but that was more effort than I wanted to put in. So I was like, just have them do it in silence. But I think I'll probably bring that bit back. But no, that like commitment to like, just like not necessarily knowing how your shit is going and just like committing to it, which the whole fucking eating a banana and fucking having a recording of your set, that requires commitment.
There's no backing out of that.
Exactly. And then like the whole set that Austin did of just like no words, just walking around the stage, that requires a lot of fucking commitment. Like you definitely have to commit hard to whatever bit you're doing, which is difficult as shit sometimes.
It's really difficult. I sometimes I'll have jokes that like require like just at least a little bit of an act out. I'm not like a huge act out person necessarily, but like and if I'm not into doing that act out and I feel weird about it that day, or I'm just like, or I'm not, my energy's not there, it's really awkward and like uncomfortable to like half commit, and then everyone's like, "What was that?" Mm-hmm. Like you know, it's like it's almost it's way better to just fully commit and then also get what was that, because at least it's like, well, I did try.
Yeah.
It's not like they didn't sense that I didn't even try.
Yeah. I remember I don't do a lot of act outs or like character bits or anything like that, but after the Uvalde school shooting, I did, because there were like immediately after that shooting there were fucking politicians like asking like, oh, this, like, it was during election season, they're like, right, this fucking disaster, let's give me donations so I can figure out gun control. It's like,
right.
Now is when you're asking? Fucking Nancy? All right, cool, you fucking multi-millionaire. Like, why are you asking us for money after kids got shot in a school? You know, like, why the fuck are you doing that?
Right.
But that was the one time I had like a like character bit that I did, which was just a politician ad asking for money.
Right.
It was like begging for money. Like, I thought that was like one of the few times that I've done that. But I'm, for the Spooktacular show, I am very excited because I'm going to be doing like a whole fucking ringmaster thing. I'm very excited for it. I haven't figured it out fully yet, but I'm not going to get too much into it. But
that's awesome. That's it. That's going to be in, you said in April
22nd.
April 22nd. Okay, cool.
Earth Day.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. I guess I didn't remember what Earth Day is, so that didn't help me.
No, nobody knows. Like, off the top of their head, nobody knows when Earth Day is. Like, ask anybody on the street when's Earth Day, they're not gonna fucking know.
No, there'd be like a 1% like success. Like 1% of the audience would be correct. Yeah,
and I kind of want to do this more often as well. Like, I kind of want to do one that's like a Flag Day, St. Patrick's Day. Special, you know, like or like a fucking, like, I don't know, Labor Day Wonderland, like for like a winter Wonderland themed like Labor Day show, you know. I just think that'd be fun. It'd be a goofy thing that I can turn into a big outlandish production that just is over the top, you know. That's all I really want, is just some over the top production.
Right.
That's all I can ask for, and it's, you know, I feel like it'd be pretty easy, hard but easy to put together.
Right. Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't mean to promote my own shit. The next late night show.
Do it. Yeah.
I'm very excited. I can't say too much about. We have Mike Adralis, which he's going to be the comedian. I don't know, for the audience that listens to your podcast, I don't know how many people listen to the podcast.
Audience. Shit. I forgot about that part.
Forgot to bring that. All right. Mike is a little Filipino guy. He is angry, has a temper, and I'm going to be, he's going to be doing a set. He's fucking hilarious. Love him. He's going to be doing the interview. And then for the variety bit, the main guest, I can't say too much about them or who they are.
Okay.
They are a former politician. I'm amazed that they agreed to be on the show.
Wow.
We're gonna have to do some like security pre-screenings, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's a big deal.
That's crazy.
Very big deal.
Yeah.
Do you know Mike?
Yeah. I mean,
Mike
I don't
is
know
going to debate this person.
Okay. That's gonna be.
He's a very yelly kind of person.
Yeah,
he yells a lot.
Right.
So he's going to be debating this former politician.
Oh my god!
Which I think is going to be fucking hilarious.
That is the perfect setup for. That's content. You know?
Exactly.
It's like,
Yes. I'm very, very excited about that. You definitely know who this politician is. Like, if most people, they know who it is. But I'm very excited about that.
That's so cool.
Again, can't say too much, but no, fucking that's part of the outlandishness of the show. That's where we're trying to go. I'm very much looking forward to just like going off the deep end with going fucking crazy. With these things.
That's gonna be great, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. I would say, how long have we been going?
I'm guessing we probably need to wrap it up soon just because of like time wise or whatever. It's 9:10. Yeah. We gotta wrap it up. Well, right. It's been awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, maybe we'll do this again sometime. But appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Later.